Hello everyone, welcome to Digital Lesson for Students by Department of School Education, Nagaland. I am T. Pungudi from MSc MPhil Mathematics from C.D. King Higher Secondary School, Jotsama, Kohima. In this session, we are going to learn inverse trigonometric functions. In class 11, you have studied trigonometric functions, but here we are going to study the inverse of trigonometric functions. In the last class, the first chapter, we have learned that the inverse of a function, suppose if we take f, the function from a to b exists if and only if f is 1 to 1 and onto. See, these two conditions are very, very important. If the function is 1 to 1 and onto only, we can define the inverse of a function. Yes, but in class 11, we have learned that the trigonometric functions are not 1 to 1. You see the graph of y equal to sin x. See, here the x-axis, we have written the real angles, and here real numbers 1 and minus 1. See, it takes sine 0, 0, sine pi 0, and sine 2 pi 0. See, if you write it in the arrow diagram, suppose this is x-axis and this is y-axis. We have 0, pi by minus pi by 2, minus pi, here pi by 2, and plus pi, 3 pi by 2, isn't it? And here 1, minus 1, 1. Then 0 is mapped to, 0 is mapped to 0, right? 0 is mapped to 0, and for sine 90 we have 1, and sine pi we have 0, and again sine 3 pi by 2 we have minus 1, and sine 2 pi we have, if we have 2 pi also here, 2 pi, again we get 0. If you see the angle 0, pi and 2 pi all mapping to 0. So it is not 1 to 1, it is many to 1, isn't it? Therefore, the inverse we cannot define for y equal to sin x. And also, what is an inverse? We exchange the roles of x and y, isn't it? So here, if you just take this x-axis along y and the y-axis along x-axis, if we draw the same graph, we get here for minus 1. If we take this function as g, for g of minus 1, it is mapped to minus pi by 2, right? And also again for minus 5 pi by 2 also it is coming out. Then again, if we take for 0, that will be easy for us. G of 0 is 0. Then again for g of 0 we have pi. For g of 0 we have again 2 pi. See, one element is mapped to more than 1, isn't it? Therefore, it is not a function. What is the definition of a function? Every element of the function should have a unique image, but it is not having a unique image. It has more than one image. Therefore, it is not at all a function. So, how are we going to define the inverse trigonometric functions? So, for that, we are learning this chapter, inverse trigonometric functions. What are we going to do? We are going to restrict the domain of sin x. We are not going to take the entire set. See, we define the sine function from real numbers to minus 1, 1, right? From the real numbers to minus 1, 1. If you restrict this domain into a small interval, then it is possible for us to define the inverse trigonometric functions. How are we going to restrict? You see, we are going to take only this interval, this part. It takes the patterns. See, again we get this, right? If you take the entire set, you cannot define inverse trigonometric functions. But if you restrict the domain only to this limit interval, we can successfully define the inverse trigonometric functions. So, our limit is from the sine inverse is defined from minus 1 to 1. This is what we do for the inverse functions. We swap the domain and range, isn't it? So, 2 minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. So you may have a question now, where are we compulsorily take only this interval? Is it not possible for us to take any other intervals? Yes, of course we can take that, but if you take this one, this is called the principal branch. The other intervals you will get accordingly the different branches, but this minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, we call it as principal branch. So this is called principal value branch. Okay, and if you get any value of sine inverse in this interval, listen carefully, if you get any value of sine inverse in this interval, within this interval, then those values are called principal value. Principal value. So here I repeat it once again. See, if you take the entire domain to define the sine inverse, we cannot define it because it becomes not a function. Therefore, we restrict the domain to a particular interval. So we take only minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Similarly, you can define for the other functions also. We cannot take the entire domain. See, we restrict the domain of sine. See, minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. For cos inverse, we restrict the domain to 0 to pi, and cosecant inverse of x to this interval, and here also secant inverse, even in tan inverse we restrict the domain, and cot inverse we restrict the domain to 0 comma pi. So these are the new ranges. Alright, okay, and then please don't get confused with this too. Sine inverse of x doesn't mean that sine x whole to the power minus 1. See, it doesn't mean that sine in x whole to the power minus 1. So most of the students get confused this part. So it is never equal. This is not same. This is equal to 1 by sine x, isn't it? But sine inverse of x is the inverse trigonometric functions. In this way, or you can mention like this arc sine x. See, in these two you can mention any one. All right, okay. So now sine is defined from the real number to minus 1 comma 1, and sine inverse is defined from minus 1 comma 1 to minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. So this is the range of sine inverse. Okay. Then from the definition, we have, suppose if you take y equal to sine inverse of x, then we can write x equal to sine y. All right. Also, sine inverse of sine x will be equal to x for x belongs to minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. Please remember this property. We will be using this in our exercise problems. Okay. Then sine inverse of x also will be equal to x for x belongs to minus 1 comma 1. See, the common mistake the students do is they never care about the interval given in the questions. See, most of the questions you will be seeing some notations, I mean the intervals given in the questions, but we never care. We just omit that one, we will just calculate and get the answer. Sometimes it goes wrong. We have to check whether our value belongs to that interval or not. Okay, and here if you look at this tabular column, these are called the principal value branch. Your answer, your value of this inverse trigonometric functions should be lying in this interval only. If it is out of it, it is not an answer. Alright, please keep it in mind. And here minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2, it lies in the first and the fourth quadrant. You see, this is our first quadrant, and this is our second, and this is our third, and this is our fourth quadrant, right? Okay, sine inverse of x lies in the first and the fourth, right? So it's like this here. Okay, sine inverse of x. And again, cosecant also same, first and the fourth. So this is also lying in the first and the fourth. And even tan also lies in the first and fourth, excluding the extreme points. Here, that's why we are giving open bracket. We don't take this minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. It should be only inside the interval. All right. Okay. And what about this cos, secant and cot? It will be in the first and the second quadrant. First and second quadrant. So it will be here. Cos, secant and cot. So it is easy for us to remember the intervals in this way. Alright. So it is very simple to remember. If you take minus 1, 1, these two same, and here are minus 1, 1, that is excluding this interval, except that we can take any real number, and even these two same. And if you take, see this principal value branch, you see these 3 go similar. Right, minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2, this is minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2 excluding 0, and this is open interval of minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2, and these 3 goes together. Right, in that way if you can remember, that is fine. Okay, and the principal value branch and the principal value, we are going to do it in the exercise problems as well. The graph of the inverse trigonometric functions have been reduced for this examination for 2021. So I am not going in detail to the graphs of all the inverse trigonometric functions. If you want, if you have an interest, you can mail me, then I can help you. Find the principal value of cos inverse of root 3 by 2. Alright, let's take this one as y. Y is equal to cos inverse of root 3 by 2. So we can write this one as cos y is root 3 by 2. Okay, and we all know that cos 30 is equal to root 3 by 2. So in terms of radian, if we write, this is cos pi by 6. So in this case, this is y equal to pi by 6. Here, please remember this cos, some students they used to cut like this. It is not correct. It is wrong, mathematically wrong. It is never can be cut this here. See, if the meaning is if cos y is equal to cos pi by 6, which implies y is equal to pi by 6. Don't cut this. And y equal to pi by 6, you got this answer. Here, you can ask a question that the answer is that much. No, it is not ending here. You have to check this one, whether this angle, this value lies in our principal branch or not. That is very important. See, y equal to pi by 6, our cos function, isn't it? So this is 0 comma pi. Is it in this 0 comma pi? Yes. Pi by 6 is 30. 30 belongs to this 0 and 180 or not? It is lying in this interval. Therefore, this is correct answer. Suppose if you are not getting the value in this interval or outside of this interval, we have to further use some appropriate identity to bring it the value within this interval. Okay, luckily we got here, so here our answer ends. So that's all. This is the principal value of cos inverse of root 3 by 2 is equal to pi by 6. All right. Okay. Then we will see one more problem. The next one is the principal value of tan inverse of minus root 3. Here we have a minus. So listen carefully. See, let theta or y, whatever you like, you can use it here. Tan inverse of minus root 3. So this one we can write it as tan theta is equal to minus root 3. So root 3 is tan 60, isn't it? So tan pi by 3. Tan 60 is root 3, therefore we can write tan pi by 3 in radian. Okay. Can we equate theta equal to minus pi by 3? No, it is never correct. See, this is plus and this is minus. It is never equal. So we have to use some identity to make it equal. Okay. At the same time, we have to check whether that value is in this principal branch or not. Our principal branch is the tan inverse of x branch is principal value branch of tan inverse of x is minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. We have to find a number, I mean an angle within this interval. Okay. And also you have to check at the same time our tan inverse of x lies in first and the fourth quadrant. Okay, it is in the first, and tan inverse of x lies in first and fourth. All right, excluding the extreme points. Right. And tan x takes negative in, you all have studied in your lower classes, I mean in class 10, the first quadrant all will take positive, and in second quadrant you learn that sine will take positive. Sine, if it takes positive, then cosine also obviously it will be taking positive, and here tan and here cos, this will be positive. So many students, they use all silver teacups, or all students take commerce, or all add sugar to coffee. So in which way you want to remember, you can remember this. So here these are the positive. Tan is positive here in the third quadrant, right? But it takes negative here, all positive. So it takes negative here and here. That is, it is negative in the second and the fourth quadrant. Right? We have to keep all this in our mind. So tan x takes negative in second and fourth. Its principal value lies in the first and the fourth, which is common in both. This is fourth and this is also fourth. So this is common. Our answer will lie in the fourth quadrant. Right? The fourth quadrant, see, suppose if we take the angle anti-clockwise, we take positive, right? And if you go clockwise, you take negative angles, isn't it? So this one, we can write this as, in order to get our answer in the fourth quadrant, so we can write tan inverse of minus pi by 3. Minus pi by 3 is in the fourth quadrant, right? Now these two are equal. At the same time, pi by 3 is minus 60. Minus 60 is in this interval or not? Yes. So you have to keep in mind all this, the negative part and the principal value branch quadrant and the interval. Okay. So since these two are equal, then theta will be equal to minus pi by 3. So it is belonging to this interval minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. Therefore, the principal value of tan inverse of minus root 3 is minus pi by 3. Okay, that's all. So when you are finding the principal value, you have to remember this principal value branch and the quadrant, and in which quadrant it takes negative, all those you have to keep it in mind, and then find the answer. Suppose our answer doesn't lie in the fourth quadrant, then we have to use some appropriate identity which we learn in class 11, those pi minus x, pi plus x, or 2 pi minus x, 2 pi plus x. Using those, we have to bring our angle in this interval. Okay. This is how we do the principal value of the inverse trigonometric functions. In the next session also, I'll be showing some more problems from the same exercise. Until then, thank you.